Hello amigos, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dan86, or Dan if you want to call me Dan. So it's going to be a bit of a different video today. I thought I'd do a bit of a question Q&A. Obviously I haven't done one before. I was thinking about it at work actually over the last couple of weeks, and I just thought, there might be questions that people that watch my videos have or would want to know. So I thought, why not? I did say anything goes. I'm not super easily offended, so I was up for any questions. So yeah, I've actually got a bunch as well. I didn't actually think I was gonna get that many, but I've got a bunch from Twitter and a bunch from Instagram as well. So yeah, so let's get into it because obviously there's a few, and obviously I need to get through them all. So yeah, let's go for question number one. This actually is a question from a buddy of mine on Twitter called Grace. Her actual handle is at Santos_Corona94. If you want to find her on Twitter, she's cool. She's a massive Chivas fan. She's always liking Mustafa, and she's always posting cool stuff as well. So check her out. Her question is, how did you fall in love with Chivas? So it's a bit of a complicated question. There's another question down here about Mexico that I'm going to answer. So I want to try and keep them separate, even though they're kind of joined. So I pretty much became a fan of Chivas because I was already a fan of Mexico at the time. I started becoming a fan, I think, just before the Apertura 2016. I believe that's when Chivas had just signed Alan Pulido. I'd actually been following Pulido for a few years, or a couple of years before that, when he was in Olympiacos, and he had his whole kidnapping ordeal and all that jazz. I think he had a car crash over in Greece as well, which is crazy. But yeah, so that was when I first started becoming a fan. At the time, it was mainly because I already knew Pulido. I already knew enough about the league to know that Chivas were 100% Mexican. At first, I wasn't really too bothered about supporting an actual team in Liga MX. I just wanted to learn about the league, learn about the clubs. All the podcasts, like the Mexican Soccer Show, they will always talk about the Mexican national team, which at the time is what I was focusing on. But they'd also talk about Liga MX as well, because obviously the two are intertwined. So the more I watched these podcasts, the more I was developing an interest into the league as well. And by 2016, I'd been following Mexico and Mexican football and Mexican players for just about 2 years. And it got to the point where I was like, I want to support a team. I don't want to be on the outside looking in anymore. I want to be a part of it and be a part of the discussions and all that jazz. So I started looking for a team. I didn't really look too long, to be honest. It kind of just made sense to go with Chivas. The national team's 100% Mexican. Chivas 100% Mexican. They're both intertwined. They're both popular. So it kind of made sense. It wasn't like, they're the best team in the league, so I'm going to support them. The only other team in contention was America, but they've always reminded me a lot of Man United for the Premier League, and I've never been a fan of theirs, so it kind of put me off them. Even though I've always recognised they're a good team and they're one of the best teams in Mexico, but not as good as Chivas, obviously. So yeah, that kind of was it. And then obviously when Chivas won the double in 2017, to witness that, obviously here in Australia, I'm not actually there unfortunately, but to witness that was pretty special. By that point I'd known that Chivas hadn't won the league in 10 years, so yeah, it was pretty special. I was loving Almeida. During this period as well, Arsenal actually, my English club, actually played Chivas in a pre-season friendly. I think it was the summer of 2017 or 18, I can't remember. But that was pretty cool as well. I think Chivas played that game, which was quite cool. A lot of the Chivas first 11 did actually play because I think they were in Mexico duty at the time. So it wasn't Chivas' strongest team, but it was still pretty cool. I still have videos on YouTube about that as well. So, yeah, I don't want to get too long-winded, but that's pretty much how I became a Chivas fan and when I became a Chivas fan. Obviously, been going on now for 4.5 years. So, um, yeah, I love it. I haven't regretted it. I've got a tattoo of them. They're very much my club as well as Arsenal now. So, yeah, it's been pretty good, and I have no regrets. So, yeah, thank you for the question, Grace. So let's go for question number 2, which is actually a continuation of question number 1, and this is from my buddy Myron Thiessen. You can find him on Twitter. He's also cool. He's always talking and friendly, and it's pretty awesome. So he's one of my favorite Twitter people. So check him out. His question is, why are you not an American fan? So I've kind of already answered this. I did look at them when I was thinking about supporting a team. Obviously, being from the outside, looking in, I wanted to find out about all the teams and what made them special. And for me, America has always been obviously one of the best teams in the league, and they just remind me a lot of Man United. Obviously with all the trophies, but the fans are similar as well. They've got very proud fans. I would say proud. I was going to say arrogant, but not arrogant, just proud. They know their team's one of the best teams in the Americas, especially in North America and in Mexico as well. So, and they're proud of it. Fair enough to them. If I was a fan, I'd be doing the exact same thing. So, and it's quite cool to banter with them as well. I've got a couple of buddies that I banter with. About America too, not so much these days, but in the early days when I was fully submerged in Chivas and the biasness that comes with it, I did banter some American fans quite hard, and they bantered me back, as I've got to admit. But yeah, no, America. There's always been something that has been tempting about America, but also off-putting about America. I didn't want to go for. I don't know, such a proud team, if that makes sense. I mean, I know Chivas is proud, but yeah, no, for me, I can't stop thinking about America being like Man United, and I've never liked Man United, so I think that's probably why I never really went with them. I hope that answers your question. It's a bit of a difficult one, but yeah, I hope you're satisfied with the answer. Okay, so let's go for question number 3. This is from an actual really good mate of mine, What Saint. He's at is Hetero Gomez. Check him out on Twitter. He's awesome. He's always up for a chat and banter and questions and things like that. So check him out. His question actually is an Arsenal related question. Is who is Arsenal's most hated rival in your eyes? So that's an easy question. That's pretty much Tottenham Hotspur. Maybe the local rivals. There's a massive history with them. Obviously, ancient history about Arsenal going from South London to North London in the late 1800s. Chelsea fans have never let that go. Not Chelsea fans. Spurs fans have never let that go. It's just Spurs are the one club that every Arsenal fan grows up and learns to hate. Mainly because nowadays it's mainly because they're so arrogant when they haven't won anything. I think President Kennedy was president when they last won the league, so that gives you a bit of an idea of how long they've won the league. They've not won a trophy, I think, in 15 or 20 years, and that was the League Cup, so their fans are very arrogant when they shouldn't be, when they have no reason to be. So that's my main rival for Arsenal, in my opinion. There's also Chelsea as well, obviously another London rival. Chelsea is a little bit different. Obviously, they've had money from Russia, so they've won a lot more. They've won the Champions League, so they hold that over us. They have a little bit more reason to banter Arsenal fans than Spurs do. Mainly because they've just won trophies that Arsenal haven't. They've won trophies. They've won the league way more recently than we have, so they've got that. Chelsea fans, I know some Chelsea fans I really get on with. Some Chelsea fans I hate. they've got a bit of a reputation for being racist as well, which is not something I'm down with. Um, but it's just one of those London rivals, I guess. There's also Man United. The late 90s, early 2000s, it was just United and Arsenal. That was probably the best time for both teams. Both teams have really declined since then. United fans will not accept that, but they have declined a lot since then, as much as Arsenal, in my opinion. If it hadn't been for Robin van Persie joining them, banter, and winning them, he won them the league at the time. If he hadn't won that, then it would have been even longer since they won the league. So, Man United's another one. Who else? Stoke. I hate Stoke City, mainly because they not only did their player break Aaron Ramsey's leg quite horrifically back in the day, but they also boo him every time they play against him. It's as if it's his fault that he got his leg broken, which is quite funny. I just don't like Stoke at all. So yeah, that's pretty much all the rivals I think. All the other clubs that I don't like in England anyway. So I hope that answers your question, mate. Okay, so let's go to question number 4. And this is from another good buddy of mine, at Chato Rotana. He's another good guy. Check him out on Twitter. He's awesome. He's asking, would you be willing to meet up with friends you've made on Twitter? The short answer is hell yeah. There's a whole load of people that I've met. I mean, all social media has its ups and downs, and its downsides are, trolling, online bullying, getting your information stolen, things like that. So there are significant downsides to social media, but the upsides are, you meet people that you wouldn't meet anywhere else. In particular for me, in Twitter, I mean, I've had Facebook for ages, but Facebook's mainly for family for me. Twitter, I've definitely met a whole bunch of people. I mean, I could list them, but it's just gonna make the video like 3 hours long. But I would say there's probably about 8 or 9 people that I've met on Twitter that I, hands down, 100% will meet in real life one day. Have a beer with, hopefully watch a Mexico game with, hopefully watch an Arsenal game with. So yes, in short, yeah, hell yeah, I'm definitely planning on it. As soon as COVID kind of settles down, and we can't actually leave Australia at the moment. It's super hard to leave Australia or get back in. So we can't actually really travel at the moment. Everything else is normal, it's just we can't travel. So as soon as I can travel, I want to go to the US, Mexico, a whole bunch of places. So yeah, in short, yeah, I'm planning on it. Not only am I willing to do it, I'm planning on doing it. So, and you're one of them, bro. So yeah, be prepared. So yeah, thanks for the question. It was awesome. Okay, guys, let's keep it cracking. So, question number 5. It's from my mate, Football TV, at Football TV on Twitter. Check him out, he's awesome. He's kind of given me quite a long question, so it's probably going to take a while. He said, what's your best memory of an L3 game? And please, some depth on how you fell in love with L3. So the first one, best memory of an L3 game. Obviously, I've not seen them live yet. So it's watching on my TV or my computer. It would have to be. It would have to be when I first started watching them in the Brazil World Cup in 2014. Mainly, there's 2 games really. It's the 0-0 against Brazil, where Memo Ochoa just had an outstanding game. I would say probably the best performance of any goalkeeper in the whole tournament, in my opinion. I'm a little bit biased, but I try not to be when I say that. Just outstanding. It was a really good performance, and at the time, I think it was the first game, or the second game of the group stage, because Mexico hadn't been in the group, and yeah, to get a 0-0, Brazil had Hulk, Neymar, Oscar. All these players were in their prime at the time. Neymar was probably the best he's ever been at that period. And they were easily one of the favourites. Obviously, the home side's always one of the favourites. So they were easily one of the favourites to win the whole thing. And to keep a 0-0 draw, that was the first wow. For me, it was like wow. This team's actually really good. These players are awesome. Who are these players? It kind of sparked my interest in learning who the players were and if they played for any European teams, if I knew any. I mean, I knew Chicharito and Godardo, the Dos Santos brothers as well, and Velo, obviously, I knew of him. But all the others I didn't really know. I didn't know Memo Ochoa even at the time, even though he was playing in Europe. So, yeah, that's my most memorable one because it was kind of like the first Mexico game I'd watched. And probably the Noel Penal one against the Netherlands as well in that World Cup. Remember watching that. I remember the Robin dive. I remember being outraged by it. By that point, I was interested in Mexico and watching the team, but I wasn't a fan at that point. And even I felt like, holy moly, they've been robbed. Robbed by Robin. It's quite funny. So yeah, it was those two games kind of most memorable for me because it's kind of sparked the interest on how I became a fan, and it leads me to the second part of his questions. Some depth of how I fell in love with him, with the El Tri. So it began with Mexico, watching Mexico in the Brazil World Cup 2014. I only really did that because a year previously I kind of started this long distance / online thing with a Mexican American girl, and it was kind of like a weird, stupid, gesture, I guess. I mean, I get World Cup fever like everyone else does. You want to watch all the games, but for me it was like, okay, I want to watch all the England games, I want to watch Mexico games for her. She was never into football, really. She was quite, blasé about it. She's like, okay, fine. But for me, it's kind of like a gesture, I guess. And it turned out really good because Mexico really impressed me and their players really impressed me, and it sparked the interest that I would go on to have. So then I wrote a blog about this as well. I'll put it in the descriptions as well if you want to go read it. It's way more in depth than this because I don't want to ramble on too much. But basically, I watched the World Cup in Brazil, and then I went and started researching the players and where they played. I found the Mexican Soccer Show on YouTube. It was only on YouTube at the time, which is quite good actually, because I think watching them talk about football was good for me at the time. I don't know why. It was just they were obviously really knowledgeable, so I learned about the Mexican national team and about the league. And then also I was playing FIFA, going on FIFA and just searching the Mexican players on FIFA, doing that kind of stuff. And obviously Pancho Villa's Army as well, getting the fan kind of side from it. They just started by that point. I think they started in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they were doing lots of fan cams and watch parties and stuff. So I was getting the knowledge side, and I was getting the FIFA player side, and I was getting the fan side. And that's kind of how I started becoming a fan and started watching the games more and following the teams more and the club more, the national team more and the players more. So it's way more depth than that. I'm trying not to ramble on too much, but that's pretty much how I became an El Tri fan. But again, if you want to read the blog, I'll post the link in the description below. Thanks for the question, bro. It was a good one. Okay guys, so this is my final Twitter question. It's coming from a good buddy of mine called Victor. I'm going to butcher your handle, mate. Sorry about this, but I think it's Victor Real. I could be mistaken on that. Sorry for butchering it. But he's asked a really good question. How did you end up in Australia? So yeah, I'm English by birth. I was born and bred in England. I lived there until I was 26. Short story is we came here on a holiday in 2009, I think it was. Loved it. My parents moved out here in 2011. Me and my brother stayed at home. I stayed in the UK for another year, but by then we pretty much decided we would come out here too. So yeah, we followed them in 2012. Really haven't really looked back since. My motivations for coming out here were to get better job opportunities, better quality of life. Living in England's cool, I guess. Not at the moment, obviously, it's COVID, but for here it's just, I think it's just the weather. The weather's just so much nicer. It's amazing how it lifts your mood, and you want to do stuff, and you want to go out, and you want to do this and do that, mainly because it's warm-ish. You know, it's not always blaring hot, but it's always warm. Well, I say always. It's warm for about 5 months out of the year. It's always sunny most of the time. And it just makes you want to go out and do stuff, and everyone here works, does what they have to do, and then they go out. They go to the pub, or they go out and meet their friends, or go to the beach, or have a barbecue. And there's always a barbecue. You can always smell a barbecue from somewhere, and I just love it. I still haven't gotten used to that. I still think of barbecues, as the barbecue smell, as something special. Because in the UK, you can only really have a barbecue a couple of weeks out of the year, literally. It's always raining, it's always grey. For me, I feel like the weather really does play on your mood. I'm very much a sunshine, blue sky, warm kind of guy. I'm not a freezing cold, let's go play in the snow kind of guy anymore. I've done the whole snow thing anyway, which helps, but snow's fun for about 5 minutes, and then after that it's just a hassle. So yeah, I'm pretty much over it. I came out here to get a better job. It took me a while to do it, but I ended up doing it. My quality of life's way better. I don't really regret it. I do miss all my friends. My hometown, I knew pretty much everyone. Everyone knew me. So to come here where I knew nobody, was a bit of a shock, and a bit of a culture diversion for me. I don't know whether that's the right word, but it took me a long time to kind of like learn how to meet people and become friends with new people. And fortunately, Arsenal helped me with that. I started hanging out with the Arsenal group here in Perth. Because I love watching Arsenal, I love watching football, I love talking about football, so it was a natural place for me to look for friends again. Fortunately, I've met a few really cool guys over here, and girls, that I'm really happy to have met. So I miss my friends back home, I miss my family. 90% of my family live in the UK, so I miss them, especially my grandparents. They're all getting on a bit now. And it's, at one point or another, I've lived really close with all my grandparents, so it's hard to not see them all the time. And even my nan, who lives a bit further away, I used to live near her as well. So to not see them often is the worst bit, as well as not seeing my friends. Who are all getting married now, who are all having kids now, or most of them are having kids, so, I'm missing out on a lot of stuff that I would have been a part of if I had stayed. So, it's not all positivity and, rainbows over here. I do miss aspects of home. I still think of it as home, funnily enough. Although I think of this place as home as well now. It's just a little bit weird. I still feel like going back to the UK is a holiday now. It doesn't feel like going back home, it feels like a holiday. I don't regret living here, so I don't regret how my life's turned out here, so I just regret missing out on some family stuff and friend stuff, so, but you gotta take the good with the bad, I guess. That's pretty much how I got to Australia, so I hope that answers your question, bro. Quickly run through some Instagram questions I got, obviously from Instagram. First one I've got is from a buddy of mine, Alejandro. I'm going to butcher your handle as well, bro. I'm sorry. I do have him on Twitter as well, so search for him on Instagram and Twitter as well. He's a Man United fan, unfortunately, but he's a cool dude, though. So, yeah, check him out. He's always cool. So, yeah, he's at 573GRE_C. Don't think I've said that right, but he's asked me, do I like the Smiths? I'm assuming you mean the band. I don't know them really that much. I've never really listened to them. I was tempted to go and check them out after you sent me the question, but I was like, I'll keep it authentic. I don't know them, unfortunately. I haven't really listened to them, so there's something that I really want to start doing is getting some of the bands that I haven't really got into, like Led Zeppelin. I barely really got into them. I like my classic rock, so I'm definitely going to check them out at some point. So I don't dislike them, I don't like them because I don't know them well enough to like them, if that makes sense. But good question, thanks, man. And the last 3 questions on Instagram are all from a buddy of mine from here, from Australia. He's not an Arsenal fan, but his twin brother is, so, you know, and at least one of them got it right. His name's Jake, Jake Reed 95, if you want to follow him on Instagram. He's asked me 3 questions, 2 of which are related. So the first one is, what is my favourite taco? My favourite taco is the beef barbacoa at the moment. I also like the pork belly taco. There's a restaurant here called El Publico, which I've been to a couple of times. I actually went there recently, and funny story, I actually met a Morelia fan, a Monacas Morelia fan. He was actually wearing a jersey, and I was eating my taco, and I was looking over at the bar, and I recognised that shirt. And I realised he was a Morelia fan. I was like, oh man, I feel really sorry because, you know, Morelia no longer technically exists. So I went up there and said hello. Got a quick picture with him because he's a cool guy. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook now. So there is a couple of Mexican guys that I know from Perth. Let me know in the comments if you want me to get them on the channel at some point. I'd love to have a conversation with them on camera. I actually need to meet up with them more off camera as well. So my favourite restaurant at the moment is El Publico, but there's a couple more. La Chilitas, which is where I had my birthday meal. That's more of a bar with kind of like bar food, like small nibbly bits. It's not really a restaurant, I don't think. I didn't get that vibe. I got like a bar vibe, which was sick, you know. I really enjoyed it. It was really great. And there's also a Cabalitos, which is where I went for the Day of the Dead, the evening of the Day of the Dead. Went there for the evening out. I had lots of tequila, which is awesome, mostly. And I also had some tacos there as well, which is absolutely amazing. Their tortillas was like quite thick. It reminds me of like the bread wrap things that the Greeks use in their restaurants. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it. I was getting quite drunk at the time, so that might be why, but I'm definitely going to go there again. There's also a restaurant here called Pancho Villa's. Quite funny, really. I actually want to take a picture of the outside. I'm going to go there at some point soon, because they used to have two restaurants, and one that closed down. I've been to the one that closed down, but I haven't been to the one that's still going. I'm going there soon though, so I'll take a picture of the outside, and I'll tag Pancho Villa's Army in there, because I thought it was quite cool. So yeah, there's plenty of Mexican restaurants in Perth. I'm definitely going to try and check them all out at some point. Also, keep an eye on my Twitter and my Instagram, especially my Instagram, because it's actually physically impossible for me to eat a taco and not take a picture of it first. I've tried not doing it. I got really sick from it. No, I'm joking, really. But no, I love taking pictures of tacos. I don't know why. It's just they look great, and then they taste great. So you know, it's a win-win situation. So check my Instagram out for them. And yeah, my last question is also actually I've got 2 more questions. So the second to last question is from Jake as well. He's saying, what is my guilty pleasure football club? I'll do a European one and a Mexico one just to keep it fair. My Mexico one, if I wasn't a fan of Chivas, I'd probably be a fan of Monterrey. Um, their team's quite cool. Obviously, they had Pizarro for a while, and their team at the moment is great. They should be doing a lot better than they actually are. They should be challenging at least in the finals every season with that squad, but they're not. So, if, in my eyes, they're failing more than they're succeeding. Although I can't really talk to the Chivas fan, but they got a good squad. But my main thing about the Monterrey team or the club is um, they got an absolutely wicked stadium. I mean, their stadium's absolutely beautiful. You know, Emirates, going to the Emirates for the first time was almost a religious pilgrimage for me. And it's going to be the exactly same for when I go to Akron. I mean, just I'm going to be open mouthed the whole way through the Akron. Um, Before the game, after the game, during the game, I'm just going to be like, it's going to be a proper pilgrimage, But with Monterrey, their stadiums, after those two stadiums, Monterrey Stadium is the stadium I really want to go to. The scenery is awesome. The fact that you can see some of the mountains through one of the angles. The stadium just looks absolutely sick, and I'm definitely going to go there. So that's probably my Mexico guilty pleasure is Monterrey. My European, I don't really have an English one. There's not really any other English teams that I rate. I kind of liked Bournemouth when they first went to the Premier League. That was pretty cool because the stadium was quite old. It kind of gave you the old school Highbury vibes. Um, so yeah, I quite like them. Not so much now. They're kind of no. They got rid of the manager and he was good. So yeah, not so much now. But I think I mean, I think my guilty pleasure would probably be Juventus. I've actually got one of their shirts. I got their, I think their 99 or 2000 shirt. Um, Back when they had Filippo Inzaghi and Del Piero and Buffon, which is absolutely amazing. Um, I'd say Juventus are my guilty pleasure. I do like Barcelona. Um, I'm not enough to ever be a fan, but if I had to choose between Madrid and Barcelona, I'd probably go Barcelona. Um, their stadium's great. Barcelona, the city looks awesome. It's another place I want to go to at some point. So, yeah, they're pretty much my guilty pleasure football clubs. So I hope you enjoyed that Ask Jake. And my last but not least, probably the most important question of them all, is hard or soft shell tacos. Obviously soft shell. Not only do they taste better and they're easier for me to handle because it's in my hands. Soft shell, I've had hard shell before and it cracks and breaks and stuff goes everywhere. The soft shell actually, for me, holds everything in a lot better than the hard shell. You could bite into a soft shell, mainly because I think the soft shells are quite smaller. The hard shells that I've had are quite big. It could be that reason, I'm not sure. It feels more comfortable eating a soft shell, but they also taste better. I've had hard shells before and it tastes alright, but the soft shell for some reason just brings out their flavour more. I actually had an argument. I'll tell you a story. I had an argument with the vocalist of an Australian band called Amity Affliction. Some of you may have heard them. They're pretty big. Under Parkway Drive, they're probably the most biggest Australian current band, except for AC/DC. But you know what I mean. Modern times. I had an argument with their vocalist on Twitter once when I first got Twitter because he tweeted out like, hard shell tacos, no, soft shell tacos. He tweeted out that soft shell tacos are basically baby burritos and not real tacos. So I messaged him back saying that's actually woefully incorrect. I mean, the soft shells were there first. They're the genuine article. They're the actual historical, cultural, culinary experience. The hard shell taco is just an American way of being lazy a lazy way of kind of trying to make it better, but actually making it worse. He took exception to that, and I said to him, look, just go to Mexico. When you go to Mexico, just go there and have a soft shell taco, because you're missing out. And he tweeted back saying that he'd been there like 3 times on tour, so because he's quite a big man. So I messaged back saying, well, you've been to Mexico like 3 times, and you've never had a soft shell taco. I mean, what was the point in you going there? And then he blocked me. So that was the end of that conversation. But I've always been a soft shell over hard shell guy. Some people take it a lot more seriously than others. Some people enjoy both. Some people prefer one or the other. I'm not too hardcore about it now. If he tweeted out saying I prefer hard shell tacos, I would have just kept scrolling. Whatever. Anyone else's preference isn't got anything to do with me. Like, it's not going to affect me. Why would I comment? It was just the fact that he insinuated that soft shell tacos are the frauds, when I know culturally they're the legit thing, and so it was like the injustice of it kind of provoked me into commenting. So, but yeah, no. Short answer, definitely soft shell. Long answer is, I could go on and on about that. But so I just want to say thank you to everyone that submitted questions. Super fun to do. I might actually do some more in the future if you guys want to. Anything else you want to know, anything personal, like how many siblings I have, or anything to do with me personally, I'm all out for it. So if you ever have any more questions, let me know, and I'll probably do another one. But thank you very much for this, guys. I really appreciate it. Stick around for the channel. I've got a whole bunch of more videos coming out this week. I've got an Arsenal one coming out. I've got a Davila Watch one that's just come out. And obviously Chivas is going to be playing in the weekend as well. So I'll get a video for them as well. So take it easy, guys. Check the channel out. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.